Perfect. We are live on YouTube, guys. So we're gonna hit the theme song while I get everything prepared. And give me a second here.
Envy. She brings sparkle to the world, raise a fish, she know her power. Chasing down the scales of justice, dropping truth every hour. Sunflowers on the spirit, glitter, unicorn up on the screen. Hey, my show is on. They twist facts, pick a verse, then pretend they made a case. But she read the whole opinion, now they quiet in the place. I don't wanna hear your story, baby, I just need the facts. I read the book, I did the work, got my people on my back. If you rockin' with the sparkle, then just hop up in the leg. If you looking for the truth, then I'ma show you where it's at. I let's see on the table, all books in a stack. If you came to spin the truth, I'm gon' run the logic back. Don't cherry pick the scripture, don't remix what the law said. Don't quote half of history, then act like the rest dead. I'm womanist with wisdom, got glitter in my fight. I can smile while I drag you with the statue in the sight. Newsroom,
No, I wrote it, but it's not me.
lights on. Debate me if you want to, but your sources better stand strong. I don't wanna hear your story, baby, I just need the facts. Read the book, I did the work, got my people on my back. If you rockin' with the sparkle, then just hop up in the lag. If you looking for the truth, then I'ma show you where it's at. Sparkle in the chat, justice on the track. If the math ain't math, then we gon' run the numbers back. Sunflower soul, but the mouthpiece got heat. Unicorn energy with the people in the seats. I came to teach, came to shine, came to question every claim.
Good to see
You can bring
everybody.
me your
Coming on
opinion, but the
in.
facts know my
Coming to
name.
hang
I
with
don't
me
wanna
tonight.
hear your
What's up,
story,
y'all?
baby, I just need the facts. Read the book, I did
Heavy
the work, got
on
my
the
people on my
sources.
back. If you
What's
rockin'
up,
with the
Sir
sparkle,
Holmes?
then just hop up in the lag. If you looking for the truth, then I'ma show you where it's at.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up? Tonight is a bit of a different episode. I'm still going to be debating, so yes, that's happening. I've still got your news. Relax. However, this stream is going to be a little bit longer. The goal is for this Subu. The goal is for this live to go between 4 and 6 hours tonight. Some of you may stay, some of you may not. I get it. But I'm doing it for a reason. I don't know how many of you saw my video, but if you'd like to hear what I wrote, I will share it with you because this live is for a specific cause tonight. So here's what I wrote. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom where everybody believed love was supposed to feel safe. In that kingdom lived a princess. She wasn't the kind of princess who wore sparkly dresses or waited for someone to rescue her. She was the kind who tucked little girls into bed at night, kissed great boo-boos, and made dinner even when she was tired, and loved with everything she had. Then one day a dragon arrived. The dragon didn't always breathe fire. Sometimes he breathed ugly words, fear, control, narcissism. It convinced the princess that she wasn't enough, that she couldn't survive on her own, and that if she tried a little harder, everything would get better. Years passed. The princess got tired and wounded, and eventually she became disabled. But even then, she continued to show kindness to the dragon, who rarely showed it back. One day she did the bravest thing that a princess could do. She left the dragon. And everyone thinks that's where the fairy tale ends, but it doesn't. Because sometimes the hardest chapter begins after you escape. Just 30 days after leaving the dragon packed his things and left the castle. He left behind the princess and the two little princesses that the big princess had made. He walked away, but she stayed. She stayed to make lunches, to comfort the nightmares, to help with the homework and be their safe space. And now the dragon wants that castle back. He's trying to force them out of the only home that those little girls know. And if that happens, he could also separate those girls from the mother who has been there every single day. Here's the part fairy tales usually leave out. There are no magical lawyers, no fairy godmothers writing checks, Justice usually has a price tag. This princess is my sister. My sister is fighting for her daughters, but she cannot afford the legal representation. So today I'm asking if you'd be willing to become a part of this story. Not as a prince, not as a princess. As one of the villagers who sees someone in need and decides that kindness still exists. If you can donate, even a few dollars, it matters. If you can't, just sharing my story and the video that I posted to reach someone who possibly can, and also to spread awareness about the dragons. Because every kid deserves a safe home, and every mom deserves a chance to fight for her kid. And sometimes, the heroes in a fairy tale aren't the knights holding the swords. They're the ordinary people who decided that the princess shouldn't have to face the dragon alone. So tonight, I'm going to be running a very special live. And this live is to help my sister to collect legal fees. If you can donate to the GoFundMe link in my bio, that would help tremendously. I will not be accepting any donations to my Cash App. Any gifts that you have, I ask that you hold them. And redirect anything that you can to my sister. The link is in my bio. I need nothing. I am fine. But I need you to take care of my sister. So. Honestly, mentally, go Vols, any other night, I could deal with you. Today, I really think we should mute you. Because that's not even what you want to do. Yeah. Usually I let Go Vols come in here, but when you cross that line, nah, we're not doing that one. Anyways, if you can help, the GoFundMe link is in my bio. And that would be extremely helpful for my sister, making sure that my nieces are safe. So thank you guys. And thank you for everybody who's donated already. Out of $5,000, we posted at 11 o'clock today. Out of $5,000, we reached $1,600. So anything that you can donate, $2, $1, anything, it helps. Because I need my nieces to be safe. And that's just that. So I'll be here entertaining you for the next 4 to 6 hours to raise as much as I can for my sister. Anyways, your news. Because I've got news for you. Okay. So the U.S. economy slowed sharply. The U.S. economy lost momentum in the second quarter. The details, the Commerce Department reported that the United States economy grew at an annual rate of 1.5% in Q2 of 2026, while core inflation remained elevated around 3.3%. The slower growth and persistent inflation complicate the Federal Reserve's efforts to reduce interest rates. Why does that matter? Consumers continue to face high borrowing costs, expensive mortgages, and stubborn inflation despite slower economic growth. Markets and policymakers will closely watch upcoming inflation and jobs reports for signs of whether the Fed can begin cutting rates later this year. Medicare drug subsidy program is ending. This was actually revisited today by AP News. A federal Medicare drug subsidy program is ending. The Trump administration is ending a Medicare prescription drug subsidy program that helped reduce Medicare costs for many seniors. As the subsidy expires, many beneficiaries could see higher out-of-pocket prescription expenses. Why does that matter? Because millions of older Americans may pay more for medications at a time when healthcare and living costs are really high, and many of them are on fixed incomes. Oil prices are going down as of right now, but we all know that with attacks picking back up, we're going to see possibly a rise if those talks don't go well. Oil prices fell after military tensions temporarily cooled. Following several days of escalating conflict, the United States and Iran paused attacks, easing fears of immediate supply disruptions. Oil prices retreated after previously reaching 2-month highs. Why does that matter? Lower oil prices can reduce pressure on gasoline costs and inflation, though the broader geopolitical situation remains fragile. What do we look for next? Investors will monitor whether negotiations resume if fighting restarts, which could quickly push energy prices higher. The Texas Senate race is focusing on Ken Paxton, extremely heavy. Ken Paxton's political resilience is under renewed scrutiny. AP examined how Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, despite years of legal and political controversies, remained a formidable Republican figure of Democrat James Tallarico, as Democrat James Tallarico seeks to challenge in the upcoming U.S. Senate race. Why does that matter? The race could become one of the nation's highest profile Senate contests and test whether long-running scandals still influence voters. And then finally, House Democrats have launched their midterm push. Democrats kicked off their final 100-day midterm campaign today. House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries joined Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, and they unveiled the party's, quote, "Fighting for an Affordable America," end quote, agenda in Pennsylvania, emphasizing affordability and economic issues ahead of the November midterm elections. Why does that matter? Control of the United States House could hinge on competitive districts where cost of living concerns are a big issue. And what's next? Both parties are just expected to concentrate resources on battleground districts until election day, so pay attention to that. Also, guys, keep in mind that if you receive something in the mail and you are not sure of what it means, can't necessarily decipher if it's true or not, you can take a picture of it and drop it in our Discord. We are happy to fact check that for you and make sure that you have all the proper resources to take a look at the information for yourself. Also, as we always do, there's only 12 of us in here right now, but I just want to make sure that we are all registered to vote. Can I get a unicorn in the chat if you are registered to vote, please? Unicorn in the chat if you are registered to vote. Perfect. I love that for us. Okay, and then if we've checked that voter roll in the past 14 days, can I have a heart in the chat? May I get a heart in the chat if you've checked those voter rolls in the past 14 days? Hearts in the chat if we've checked those voter rolls. Perfect. I love this for us. Look at us. There's so many more hearts than we got last time, y'all. This is huge. Perfect. Okay. We looking sharp for November, y'all. We looking sharp for November. I love this for us. Okay. Has anybody been able to convince a family member to get registered to vote? A friend, a family member, anybody? I know that shit right, kids. My mama. Okay, period. Sue Boo. Sue Boo out here changing the world. One you at a time. Sue Boo. I got them to confirm they're still registered. That's huge because a lot of people don't check that. That's awesome. Y'all are rocking it. I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all are rocking it. I have no idea, but they're not loaded in on my side. So nobody, if you'd like, you can drop in them requests right back up because I don't see you loading in. No, I was literally gonna let you up until you said that. Damn. Nope. I don't trust people that do that. When they say, "Can I join in the chat?" Nope. Hi.
Hear me? Hello?
Hi.
Hi. All right, so the question I want to respond to that, why do I still support Trump? So many attributes.
Before
Where
you
shall
get
I
started,
start?
may I have your age?
35.
Hey, guitar. Okay, and where you from?
Texas. Where are you from?
You say Texas?
Yep.
You're breaking up just a little bit. It's a little hard to hear you.
Yes, I'm from Texas.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from. I currently live in Tennessee, so not too far, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I've got family that live in Tennessee. Whereabouts?
I don't want to get too specific, but we'll say middle.
Oh, okay. Outside of Nashville, Murfreesboro area. Okay. Clarksville, Friendsville area.
Around there, that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk
Yeah.
about?
I got family that lives in Knoxville.
Oh, Knoxville.
Yeah. So why do I still support Trump? The reason why I still support Trump is because I'm tired of the system. I'm just sick of both sides. Trump came in um, non-political affiliated. Now, granted, because he was a Democrat, then he ran on the Republican ticket. But I mean, that kind of shows when someone important as Donald Trump, regardless before politics, he swaps over to one side to the other side. That's kind of important, and that's what I pay attention to. So, in regards to politics, he's not a politician. We've heard the same old rhetoric since Carter. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Nothing's ever changed. So
Nothing.
that's the reason why I support Trump, is because he's not a politician.
What
I
did he
mean,
change?
he changed the whole game. I mean, things that, things don't seem real anymore. I mean, when we look at the system within itself, I mean, you got both sides praising Fauci. What did he do? He did nothing. He's
We
one of the
don't know
highest
that.
paid non.
Well, how do we know he did nothing?
Well, I mean, what did he do?
He worked for what, 5 administrations and through many different epidemics and pandemics. So
That he helped create?
where's the proof of that?
Yeah, I mean, for one, his diary and him
Yeah,
guilty of
show me in the diary where it says that.
well, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, in regards to what happened a couple of days ago, um, if you plead the fifth 111 times, even though you have a pardoned, even though you've been presidentially pardoned, I mean, even Josh Harley said you don't need to plead the fifth, even though you've been, because you're still protected. So what are you trying to hide? So
Nothing.
that right there,
I think that's the part that you
well, no, I
guys
think he
have
does.
confused because what does the Fifth Amendment protect you from?
Well, if you've been found guilty, it shouldn't protect you from anything.
No. What
But
does
if
the
you've been
Fifth
proven
Amendment say?
innocent, it's invoking your right to actually defend whatever you're being accused of.
No.
What is it? What is it?
The Fifth Amendment just says that the Constitution says that you are not required to testify against yourself and that you have the
That's what
right
it
to
said.
remain silent. It gives you the right to due process, also gives the government the right to eminent domain, and also protects you from double jeopardy. So if we're wanting to discuss the Fifth Amendment and someone actually using the Fifth Amendment, we would have to ask what the legal strategy was, which makes perfect sense because what just happened was instead of allowing him to go in and spill his guts and say a bunch of things that would have been twisted anyway, the best thing to do would have been to give them enough rope to hang themselves so that when all of the things come out from the subpoena, they would be able to use those words against them and be able to sue the United States government for defamation of character. Because see, what they did specifically was they said, oh, you received cash rewards. Well, if you know anything about how scientific research grants and all of those things are rewarded, they're not just pallets of cash, but they're usually given in checks for supplies. They're not just given in supplies. So there's a million ways to receive those rewards. There's a million things that we can talk about in terms of his staff. But the thing about it is when we already jump to conclusions before we have all of the evidence, that says a lot about our biases.
Well, I could say the same thing regarding Trump. You were ready. Let me ask you: were you ready to crucify Trump when in 2022 when FBI raided Mar-a-Lago?
I want to stick with Fauci here
No.
because you brought up
it's the same
Fauci.
situation.
I get
It's
you,
the same
but I
situation.
understand that. But I don't want to pivot. I want to stay with
It's not a
Fauci
pivot.
because you specifically said that we have his diaries, and then you said that he created these specific diseases. And I asked you, where does it say that in his diaries?
Well, no. I didn't say that he specifically said it in his diaries. I never said that. What I said in regards to his diaries, it talks about the pandemic, the recent pandemic of C-19, So he discusses that in regards to Trump. So the
It
correlation's there,
wounded, and
and he also
eventually she
worked
became
under the Trump
disabled.
administration as well. I'm sorry?
Married people who decided that the princess. Hang on just a second. I just want to just go back to what you said there. Yeah. Usually let's see. For the next 4 to 6 hours. Go right? And many of them are on fixed incomes. Okay, that's the news. Go a little further down to here. What happened was, instead of allowing him to go in and spill his guts and say a bunch of things, gotta go back a little further.
Pardoned, even though you've been presidentially pardoned.
When did you say that? What, 5 administrations and through many different epidemics and pandemics? So
That he helped create.
where's the proof of that?
Yeah, I mean, for one, his diary and him.
Yeah, show me
Guilty of
in the
assault.
So you specifically said that it was
Diary
for
where it
one
says
his
that?
diary. So
Well,
I'm asking
that's what
you
I'm getting at. I
specifically.
mean,
Oh,
in
and then you
regards to
said that's what I'm
happened a
getting
couple
at.
days ago,
So you wanted to go
um,
further into that logic, but yet and still here we are. So I'm just trying to understand, like,
5
when you say
administrations and
that it was in his
through many
diaries, I'm just
different
trying to understand
epidemics and
exactly what you
Okay,
mean.
so I'm hearing multiple. I'm here. I can
Sorry,
barely
you're
hear what
good.
you're
I'm sorry, I apologize. My question to you specifically is, when you were talking about the diaries, you specifically said, right? You said that he created, right, the disease through. When I said he got us through multiple epidemics, pandemic, you said that he created, and then I said, "Whoa, what is your proof of that?" And then you said, "Well, for one, his diaries." And then I said, "Well, do you have proof of that?" And then you doubled down and you said, "Well, that's what I was getting at." And so I'm trying to understand where the proof is in the diary. Because you said it was there.
Okay, so let me clarify. Okay, so in regards to what I was trying to refer to was the you want to talk about double downing, referring to the topic of pleading the fifth 111 times, even though you've been presidentially pardoned over the diary. So that was the whole discussion because the diary
That's
has
not
been
what you
made
said.
public now.
We just played it
What-
back. That's not what you said.
Correct.
What you said
So now
was
that
that,
we're
for
actually
one,
exploring it
we
further,
have
so
the
now we're-
diaries. And I said,
Correct.
well, then what is your proof? And you said, well, that's what I was getting at. You can't go from the diaries to the Fifth Amendment because you didn't lead with that. You led with diaries. You said, for one, we have the diaries. So I'm asking you specifically in those diaries, because you said that's where this proof was. I'm asking you where I can find that.
Yeah, so in regards to the whole hearing, in regards to Rand Paul has
No,
been
no.
making,
Specifically talking about the diary, nobody.
That's what we're talking about.
No.
So Rand Paul,
I'm talking
you're
about
asking
the
me
documents
validity.
that we have. Can you tell me what is in the diary that says that you read for yourself? Not that you
I
heard
didn't
somebody say was
I
in
didn't
there.
say it's not. I said so. If you played it a little further back, or a little further forward, I never said it was in the diary. I never said that.
Okay, I want to be clear on what you said. You said both sides are praising Fauci. And I said, right? And I said, what did I say? Give me 1 second. Hold on. Oh, I said, that's not true. I said, you said, well, what has he done? He's done nothing. And I said, well, he's worked through 5 administrations. He's gotten us through multiple epidemics and pandemics, to which you responded that he created. Those were your exact words. That is your exact quote. I said, okay, what is your proof? You responded with, for one, right? As when you say for one, that means that is one piece of evidence. That is a piece of your point, right? And so with that being said, you said for one, the diary. So that would indicate that there is something in this diary that I can go to and I can look at myself that is going to tell me that he created said epidemics and pandemics. I'd like to see it.
Okay, so in regards to Rand Paul's double downing on his diary in regards to the hearing, he has been saying that the gain of function was actually used because of Fauci's department. So within that frame of understanding, it's within that diary, or they would not be having him within that hearing, because obviously there's something within that diary that was found that is not exclusive to you or I or John Q. Citizen. It's only exclusive to those who are the higher ups. So the point is, that's the reason, because I mean, even one of the guys basically says, because you're in deep shit, you've been caught. Now, of course, he didn't say that exact phrasing, but you can read between the lines. So that's the reason why I brought it up. That's the reason why I brought the diary, because that's exactly what the hearing was over, is because the contents within inside of that diary alone. Now, and I never said that the topic of C-19 was actually talked about or discussed, because I haven't read that far into it in regards to C-19. The only thing that I read was how he responded to Trump and how Trump responded to him. But outside of that, I don't know if there was anything discussed or what the validity of that conversation was.
Okay, so to be clear, you don't have all of the information, and yet you've already drawn a conclusion, correct?
Yes, because the hearing, because the kid,
Whoa.
obviously there was something
because
there.
if there was something found, let's be very clear. If there was something
Okay.
found, and we're talking about this Republican-led oversight committee, which has been dying to put the information out there. They've been dying to tell the world about everything that has been going on. And so what we see right now is they receive the diary, and if there was something in there that was going to be insanely incriminating, then that's what they would have said. Even if he would have pled the fifth, right? Even if he would have, you could have gone to that diary and said, okay, on such and such a date, you wrote this, and this, and you collected this amount of money, which we trace back to this account, which was in your name specifically, and you stole directly from the U.S. government, right? I could see that. That's something I could get behind. But when we're just making, right, these decisions based off of our own conspiracy, and we're basing it off of very, very partial evidence, I don't think that's going to be the best way to go.
Well, no, again, is someone who, compare and contrast, right? So if you have been given a presidential pardon, just like Josh Harley said, there is no reason for a logical human being who has been presidentially pardoned to actually go in and pleading the fifth, because he has a presidential pardon, which excludes him from things, incarceration, accusations, etc. If by chance there was something that was found. Now, from what I read, there wasn't. The only thing that was, it was in regards to the relationship with Trump, in regards to inside of that diary. Even though I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 1,000 pages, maybe 1,200 pages, something along the lines of that. But it was only discussed in regards to what was his relationship was with Trump. Portions of C-19, but that has nothing to do with actually creating the pandemic. I never said that.
So again, to be clear, you don't have all of the evidence, and you've already made a decision.
Well, yes, guilty by association. Just like, for example,
who is he associated with?
You can't be serious, because clearly it was one-sided. Now, if you go back to 2020,
no, that was a very direct question. I don't need a history lesson. I'm asking you, who is he associated with?
You do, because
I don't. I'm asking you specifically.
Clearly, well, that's what I just.
I just want you to answer the question, because clearly you're very, very aware of it. I don't need you to go back to 2020. I just need a name.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's associated with the Democratic Party, obviously.
Oh.
I mean, he was pardoned by Democrats, but see, the thing about it is, just like I said, so the history lesson is into 2020. You had nothing but liberal media. You had mainstream media. You had people dancing on screen, talking about Fauci, singing about Fauci, writing books. That's the reason why he was on a magazine cover. Mm-hmm. And he was giving certain gratuities to have these interviews, because, quote, quote, he was the man of the year, which he was. He's not, because of that central theme. So we had to go back to when C-19 took place. So yes, there is going to be a history lesson involved.
I'm sorry. Can I ask a clarifying question? The people that were dancing, were they a part of the research team, or were
No.
they just fans of Fauci?
Fans of Fauci. I mean, you
And then
clearly
the
had it
people.
on
Wait, sorry,
the
hold
Tonight
on.
Show.
Quick question.
You had
The
Jimmy
people
Fallon,
that
you
were
had Jimmy
singing.
Fallon, you had
I'm
Jimmy
just
Fallon,
listen.
you had Jimmy
Hey,
Fallon.
you can keep. Hey, we don't have to scream at each other. My question is: the people that were singing, were they a part of the research team or fans of Fauci?
Fans.
The photographers that put him on the cover of the magazine,
Fans.
the editors.
Fans.
Oh, continue with your point.
Okay, just like just like with Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon got on there, dancing about Fauci, brought him on. You also had Jimmy
Was
Kimmel
Jimmy
doing
Carter
the same
on?
thing.
I mean, Jimmy Fallon on the research team.
We're not talking about the research team. We're talking about fans.
No, I'm just like if they because we're talking about the research. Were they government employees that were doing all, or just fans? Because if they were just fans, then I don't really care about that because that doesn't
Sure.
quantify
Okay,
anything
okay,
for
so,
me.
okay, yeah.
It just tells
So,
me
yeah,
that there were a
so,
lot of
okay.
people that were happy with Fauci, and I don't really care about how people
Well, I
feel
don't
about
see.
Fauci.
Well, I mean, you guys. Okay, so in regards to the Biden administration, yes, he was put on a pedestal under the Biden administration, including Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, even Biden himself. So yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about fanboy action, because it goes both ways, in regards to citizen and non-citizen. I'm sorry, non-political and political. So, well, let me rephrase that: non-affiliate to affiliate. So the point is yes, in regards to beyond the research team, yeah, you had politicians that that are praising him as well. I mean, you had also the Clintons doing the same thing. Yeah, I mean, so I mean, I don't see how you can't remember all that stuff, because obviously you lived it,
Okay.
just like I did.
Yeah, so again, my question would be in terms of concrete evidence, because everything you've given me is a handful of straws and none of them weigh much. So my question to you specifically is what
Do you mean
concrete.
to cite my sources? Is basically what you're asking? You mean cite my sources?
Well, that's
'Cause I can
usually how
clearly cite
conversations
sources.
work.
So okay, yeah, like I said, I brought up Jimmy Fallon. That was key one. That is also Jimmy Kimmel for two. I also brought up Nancy Pelosi. How is that not bringing inside my sources?
Right,
I
but
mean, you had
where's
Nancy Pelosi
can
as
I
an
can I
example.
have I need something like you're just calling names. So my question to you specifically is what do you have that draw all of these people into this web that you've created? I want to know where I can find
create the
the
web.
6
The web's
degrees of
there.
separation.
Okay, so find the 6 degrees of separation, because you're not going to find those 6 degrees of separation. You're going to find the actual adhesive, the adhesive glue discussing what I'm talking about. Because if Fauci is a part of that non-elective system that is making more than any other politician, if he's in 5 administrations, okay, 5 administrations, okay, so how many is that? Okay, so you've got Bush 2 terms, you've got Obama 2 terms. Okay, and then you've got Trump, and then you've got Biden. So you got to go back to Clinton. So that's what I'm talking about. You can go all the way back to Clinton and see those many examples where politicians are doing just that.
Perfect.
So I don't
Show
need
me
to
that.
give well. So I have to go back and do the research for you.
Oh, that's what happens when you guys don't have an answer.
Well,
That's
your
becoming
claim,
such a
your claim
common one.
was, ma'am,
Guys, we
no,
should
ma'am,
put
your
we should
claim was,
make a game out of
ma'am,
that.
your
Whenever
claim
they
was,
say do
ma'am,
the
your
work
claim
for you.
was, no, ma'am, your claim was that he worked under 5 administrations. That's your
No, no,
claim.
no.
So,
My question to
yes.
you, see, you
Why don't
just
you
that
reel
was
it
cute.
back? Why
Here's the
don't you reel
thing.
it back?
What I asked you specifically, I didn't ask you the question. What I said specifically was you made the claim, right? That he created these diseases. You created the claim that he was on a pedestal, and then you brought up people singing and dancing and photographers from magazines and Jimmy Fallon and somehow the Democratic Party, and you have no quantifiable evidence. And I don't want to feel like I'm piling on here, but I'm not understanding where you're coming from because it doesn't necessarily make sense. You just said a bunch of names. But I have a question for you. Are you familiar with Christopher Moynihan?
No, I'm not familiar with that name.
What about Brian Bettenker?
Not familiar with that name.
Daniel Tochi?
Not familiar with that name.
Andrew Paul Johnson?
Not familiar with that name.
Brent Holdridge? No? None of those?
Not familiar. Okay, so
Gotcha. So
real
these
quick.
are all pardons that Donald Trump gave. So Andrew, right, arrested and convicted in early
You
2026 for
mean?
multiple child sex crimes, including child
Oh, you're
molestation.
pivoting to J6.
Zachary
You're pivoting to J6.
I am. Zachary Alam,
Why are you
arrested and
pivoting to J6?
subsequently
Why are we
convicted of
continuing this
felony
conversation about
burglary
Fauci?
and grand larceny. Ryan Nichols, arrested in May 2026, charged with deadly conduct and harassment. Christopher Moynihan,
What's that
charged
have
with
to do with the
terroristic
pandemic?
threats after sending text messages threatening the life of House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. John Daniel
What
Andrews,
does that have to do
sentenced
with the
to
pandemic?
jail for violating restraining and peace orders involving the mother of his child. Daniel Tochi, convicted of federal charges related to possession of child sexual abuse material. Brian Bettenker, arrested and charged with,
What does it have to do
assault
with
and
the
battery
pandemic
for
or Fauci?
an incident on the Washington, D.C. metro system. Brent Holdridge, arrested and charged with grand theft for stealing thousands of dollars worth of industrial copper wire. So, see, here's the thing. This
What
is what
does
I
that have to
find
do with Anthony
interesting is
Fauci?
that you talked
Why can't
about,
you answer the
hold
question?
on, you
Why
talked
can't you
about
answer the question?
presidential pardons.
You pivot to a whole other
I'm
conversation.
not
What
pivoting.
does that have to do?
I'm not pivoting.
You
Oh,
are
this is
pivoting.
all going to come together. No worries. No worries. This is all going to
What
come
does that
together.
have to do with the
nobody.
pandemic?
If you give
What
me
does
a
that have to do
second,
with the pandemic?
okay, go ahead. I'm going to let you finish and then I'll
What,
go.
yeah, what does that have to do with the pandemic? It has nothing to do with pandemic or Anthony
Did you say
Fauci.
Panma Dick? That's crazy.
Yeah, I stuttered. So yeah, I have a big tongue. I'm sorry. It's a handicap that I have. So what does that have to do with Anthony Fauci or the pandemic? Nothing.
Do you want me to
pivoted
answer the question? You
J6
can't. You asked me the question. You can't answer the question you asked me. That's crazy.
because it has nothing to do with
Well,
the
I have to
pandemic or
answer
Anthony
it
Fauci.
in order for it to work. So
It's not going to work
you want
because
me
it
to
has nothing to
answer
do
it?
with Anthony Fauci. You're talking about
You don't want me to
presidential
answer it then?
pardons. You do whatever
So,
what you got to do, but it has
so
nothing to do with
no
the
on the
conversation.
answer, or
Do what you got to do, but it's not going to. It's not. You're not going to be able to tie it together because it has nothing to do with Anthony Fauci or the pandemic. You're talking about J6ers
great.
and presidential pardoning. It has nothing to do with Fauci. It has
Oh,
nothing to do with the
wait.
pandemic.
Wait. So presidential pardoning has nothing to do with this? Because that's been a very, very stronghold of your point. That's been a big stronghold of your point.
So who pardoned? who
wait
pardoned
a minute.
Fauci?
Wait a minute.
Who pardoned
You
Fauci?
asked me for my answer to your question, and I want to give it to you.
Sure.
I think it's only fair, right?
Cool.
So we pardoned these people, and they never really even got to testify. They never even had to do their whole full jail sentences. And so if they were called under oath for the same exact crimes, do you know what they would have the opportunity to do? Plead the fifth, right? Because the thing is, you're standing on the hill of the presidential pardon as if the presidential pardon has never been used, and it has multiple times.
That's not my hill. That's not my hill
Hold
at
on,
all.
hang on. And then you went to, hey, I think that Dr. Fauci created these diseases. And then I said, what's the proof? You said the diary. Then you said, nope, not the diary. I said, fine. What's the proof? Then you said the Democratic Party. I said, what about them? You said Nancy Pelosi, about 6 other names, and gave me no solid evidence. So see, the thing is, you like to talk a lot so that it sounds like you have proof. It's kind of like what I used to do when I was a kid. When I didn't like something, I would spread it out on my plate to make it look like I ate and like I was kind of full. But I would eat like as much as I could, and then I would like spread it out to make my mama think that was just what was left. And she'd be like, all right, baby, you know, but she'd scoop it in a pile. And she realized that I still had a whole lot left, right? And so what's happening in this moment is you spread a bunch of stuff across the plate. When you scoop it up, right, you realize that there's a lot more research to do because it's just a pile of mush. So my question to you is, why don't we make a solid meal here?
Okay.
Why don't you tell
so the
me
solid meal is,
what
okay,
the, why,
so
why
it's
don't you
been,
tell
there,
me,
there's been
right?
found,
Hold on.
there has
Why
been
don't you
found,
tell
there has
me
been
what
found
the proof
connection. I'm
is?
literally inspired
Tell
to.
me what the
Okay,
proof
the proof
is that
yeah,
Andrew, that
NPR.
Anthony Fauci
Sure.
created these diseases. Let's start there. We never
Sure.
finished that.
Okay, so in regards to Rand Paul and the gain of function, okay, so it has been discovered through
What
an
is gain of
NPR
function?
actually. It's the how do I? Okay, so it's basically the. If I understood it correctly, it's basically the study of diseases, anything that has to do with the respiratory.
That would be
But
incorrect.
it's also funny.
Gain of function is basically what it does
Why'd
is
you
it
ask me a
allows
question
for
if you
you
already
to
knew the answer to
change
it?
the biochemical makeup of an organism. And so because of that, right, it's dangerous because if by some chance it is an infectious disease, then it gets released to the public, it could be a problem. And so that's what
Cool.
gain of function
So
is.
if you
But see,
already
you
knew the
keep
answer, then why'd
using
you ask
it.
me
You
that
you
question?
used I thought you knew. I thought we were on the same page. I just wanted to make sure we were
No.
clear on what gain of function is.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with gain of function.
It doesn't. Okay, give me
No.
1 second. Let me
See,
look it up.
okay. So Dr. Fauci has been connected. It's been discovered through, and the NPR is actually reporting this. It has been discovered that the connection of Wuhan Institute of Virology
Gain of function research is scientific
basically funded through gain of
experimentation that
function is
genetically
through Anthony
alters an
Fauci.
organism.
That's the connection.
Genetically alters an organism to give it new or enhanced biological traits such as increased virulence, transmittability, or broader host range. It is used to understand how pathogens evolve,
distraction.
predict emerging outbreaks,
Has
and
nothing to do with the
design effective
conversation.
vaccines and treatments. But it also carries severe biosafety risk if a dangerous agent escapes. That's interesting. You said that was the study of infectious disease, but it's actually more or less just about changing the biochemical makeup to see how those diseases react. So I don't understand how you're upset about something and you
that's
don't know what it
distraction.
is.
Well, you clearly didn't know what it is either because you literally had to read the definition of what it was. So so again, that has nothing to do
Oh, I'm
with
sorry.
that. Again, you
Chat,
asked me
real
for a
quick.
source. You asked me for a source.
Before I decided to look up
Holy
what
shit.
gain of function was, did I not say what the definition was? If I did, unicorn in the chat. If I didn't, drop a heart. I'm okay with being wrong.
Yeah, that's biases. You do understand that. That's
Or maybe
yeah.
it's just people with
Of course,
ears.
they're going to agree with you. Well, but no, they're going to agree
Maybe
with
it's
you.
just people that have ears, friend.
Okay, so you asked for evidence, and I'm literally citing it because it has nothing to do with gain of
Okay,
function.
let me have what
That-
is gain of function?
Holy shit, that's distractionary, and you know what it is. It has
I'm
nothing to do with
asking
gain
you
of
what it
function.
is because
That's
how
what the
can you debate
conversation-
something when you don't know what it is?
Because it has nothing to do with gain of function.
Okay, so if I decide today or tomorrow, I don't like. For example, I'm not a big fan of baseball,
I
but
don't
I
think you were
decide,
interested in having
right?
this
But if I
conversation. I really
decide
don't. I
that
really
I'm
don't
gonna
think you're
go
gonna
out
have
and
this
I'm gonna
debate.
play baseball tomorrow with the fucking Red Sox, do you think, right? They're not gonna ask me where my training is from, what the roots of what where I came from was like. What experience do you have in baseball? Huh? If I walk into a courtroom tomorrow and I say, I'm that person's attorney, and they say, what experience do you have as an attorney? Where's your bar card, right? See, the thing is, there's a foundation to everything, and you don't want to address foundations. You only want to address speculation, which kills the conversation.
Well, no, I was addressing it. You're the one that's going over your elbow to get to your asshole because clearly gain of function has nothing to do with the conversation. You're wanting to break down conversational pieces by definitionary phrases that has nothing to do with that. That was the oversight argument from Rand Paul. Clearly, I said that. However, the connection of the Wuhan Institute of Virology has been center funding of bat coronavirus research, and that is the clash from the congressional hearing. You can see that through NPR as of 2 days ago. My point of saying all
You said that was
is,
no. You said that was the point of the congressional hearing, and that's what the NPR article is about. So then the NPR article, from what you're explaining to me, is that was the point of the congressional hearing. It's not. You're not telling me the evidence that was found during said congressional hearing, right? You just keep saying
That there
what
was a
everybody
connection.
else told you.
that there was a connection. Nobody told me any of that. I read it. It's the connection. See, that you're missing.
Did you read what people said?
Connection, because I don't hear what people say.
Oh, so because you
nothing was
read
being
what people
said.
say and not listen to it, that means somebody didn't tell you something?
Well, there was nothing about. Okay, so I listened.
So if you read
uh,
the Bible and you read like red letter Jesus, like he doesn't tell you to love thy neighbor just because like he wrote it.
that's a pivot.
It's not a pivot. I'm just wondering, like,
It's a
I don't
pivot.
know, like
It's a pivotary example. It has nothing to do with
a
the conversation.
pivotary example.
Correct.
Okay, friend.
If you want to discuss the Bible, we can discuss the Bible. But if you want to talk
You don't
about
want to do that with me,
what
but
you-
we can go back to Fauci.
well, I mean, if you want to talk about the Bible, we can. But that has nothing to do with the conversation. About
No,
Fauci.
we have to finish Fauci. Remember?
I'm all about finishing, but
A whole
again,
lot
you
of
asked me
Fauci
for a
going
source.
on.
Yeah, you asked me for a source in regards to the gain of function research. Well, let me
Shade.
rephrase that. Let me rephrase that to the connection of the Wuhan lab and the gain of function. So yes, the NPR clearly cites with me that there was some sort of connection being found. That's the reasons why Rand Paul had that oversight hearing in
Where
regards
is the
to Anthony
proof?
Fauci.
What is the proof?
NPR.
No. What in the NPR article says that this is concrete proof and this is why the oversight committee brought it. Here's the document.
Because that's where the diary comes into play as
So
well.
the diary is proof.
I mean, it's just a small piece.
So
of
then
it,
show me the
yes.
proof in the diary.
The NPR, because the NPR
What's
does
the
not.
name of the article?
Yeah, give me just 1 second. It's going to be.
Yeah, I better donate to my motherfucking sister. I swear to God. 'Cause I don't do this shit all the time.
Okay, so it's going to be Anthony Fauci invokes Fifth Amendment in Rand Paul Senate hearing. This was updated. It was updated July 29th of 2026 at 3 p.m. by Rachel Carlson, Jonathan Lambert, and Ari Daniel.
My bad. What would you say the name of it was?
I'm not going to repeat myself.
No,
You
for
can
real.
go back and play the
That was my fault. I
tape.
genuinely, that was my ADHD that did that, and that was.
No, for real. You can go back and listen to the tape.
I'm dead ass. What did
I'm
he say
sorry.
the name of it was,
Well,
y'all?
then this is recorded. Dead ass. If it's recorded, yeah. If it's
What's the-
recorded,
what's
then
the
you can
name?
go back and play it over.
Relax. Why are you so mad?
Anthony Fauci invokes Fifth Amendment. Anthony Fauci invokes Fifth Amendment in Rand Paul Senate hearing. That's the name of the article from NPR.
Okay. So where in this article does it give me the concrete proof? Anthony Fauci invokes Fifth Amendment at 10th Senate hearing, and that's going to be dated July 29, 2026, 4:28 p.m. Eastern Time. Is that the one?
At 3 p.m.
At 3 p.m.? So it's not called Anthony
3 p.m.
Fauci invokes Fifth Amendment at 10th Senate hearing?
Anthony Fauci invokes Fifth Amendment in Rand Paul Senate hearing.
In Rand Paul Senate hearing. Okay, got it. Let's see.
Okay, so it says days before
hang on,
Wednesday's
relax.
hearing, Paul released over 1,000 pages of Fauci's private diary entries about his daily life between December 19th and 2022, accusing him of covering up the origins of C19. The entry spans final years of his tenure as the director of the Art of Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which would be he retired in December of 2022. So that is the accusation.
Read the next. Read the next piece. Read the next piece.
Well, all it says is at the hearing, Fauci pointed out he was responding to similar questions of previous testimonies. That he basically is accusing Paul of being obsessed with him and wants to see him behind bars.
Okay, now
It goes
I
on
want
to
you
say,
to
Paul,
go back. Read the rest now.
That's what I'm doing. Paul posted the documents over the weekend. It took them down on Monday evening and reposted them by Tuesday morning with redactions. Also, Paul released 465 pages of a prequel of collection of Fauci's documents, including records and email exchanges from 2001 to 2015.
Okay, continue.
On his date from February between Fauci and prominent scientists. In his note, Fauci writes, "There is not total agreement about virus's origins during the call." End quote. Later, his entries over, however,
Hold on,
Fauci
go back. No.
That the virus.
I want you to go back to that real quick, okay? And I want you to read that in his notes and then read the next part. Go ahead. Because you tried to read past it real fast. In his notes, Fauci writes.
No, I didn't.
Come on, big fella.
Oh, in his notes. I didn't know what you. Okay,
Fauci
so in his
writes,
notes, quote, "There is not total agreement." Hold on.
In his notes, Fauci writes, quote, there are not total and not was not in total agreement, end quote, by the virus's origins during that call. However, the next sentences or the next paragraph is what's most important. Later in his entries, however, Fauci writes he is almost certain that the virus evolved naturally from species jumped even through. I keep an open mind about the possibility of a lab leak. See? So he's contradicting himself because he says they're not in total agreement.
Oh, no.
Then he says that he's
No.
almost certain.
He says
Yes.
in his
Do you not
notes,
clearly see it?
I can see
Holy
it.
cow, are
And
you
let's
that
read
blind?
exactly what it says. Because, see,
Are you
you're
that
trying
blind?
to
He
run
clearly
past
says
it. Let's dissect it.
Yes,
No.
but okay.
No.
Later,
See,
in
we're
his-
not.
No,
Hold on.
No, I'm not.
I
No,
listened
no,
to
I'm
you
not,
read
because
it.
I read it verbatim.
Here, I'll let you say what your piece is on it, and then I'll go for my piece because you're gonna keep
Why don't you
yelling over
continue
me.
picking up? You know what? Why don't you? Well, no. I want you to read the entire entry, and it's going to clearly see. You're going to clearly read